What's going on, macro perspective peeps? It is Coach Seamus. I'm going to go ahead and do a little microbite episode today. 2 to 3 concepts that I'd love to talk about in the social dynamics of life. The two being the Hawthorne and the spotlight effect, which are phenomena in the real world that happen today, and a concept called social loafing. So, the reason I want to talk about this is I want you to use these concepts and leverage them in your day-to-day life. So let's talk about the Hawthorne effect, the spotlight effect, and social loafing. Let's get a ChatGPT Google response here. The Hawthorne effect is a phenomenon where participants modify their behavior because they are aware they are being observed. It was identified in experiments where someone was going to a warehouse and they were watching the people just be more productive because they knew that someone's being there to watch them. So that's a way of seeing it. Productivity increased, even if everything else was decreased, even if the workflow was decreased, they'd find a way to be productive because they knew someone was coming to watch them, which if it was like higher up in corporate ladder or just a new manager. The spotlight effect. This is a cognitive bias where people tend to overestimate the extent of how others notice them. Like how you may feel like you're the center of the universe because you post on Instagram and social media every day, like me talking right now. Everyone's going to watch this, right? Especially people think that they are being noticed and valued more than they actually are, which is pretty much true. No one is actually, in terms of the 8 billion folks out there. But it is good to be aware of this because it helps you create social consciousness in social situations, right? And then the last concept is going to be social loafing. This can be a concept where people tend to exert less work when they're in a group compared to when they're working alone. So I like to say this is like when I used to coach fitness classes. For example, if I used to teach someone in a semi-private or a private setting, one-on-one, they're working out hard. But if I put them in a room of 1 to 40, one coach to 40 people, they work out like not as hard because they know that like I'm not watching them directly. I have like 39 other people to watch. So I want you to maximize these Hawthorne, these biases, these effects and phenomenon, because if you really think about it, how much more powerful would your goal would be? Let's say someone right now is putting a spotlight on you. You have a camera on you at all times on the things that you do, say, or will do. And you feel like you're constantly being watched, constantly being observed. What would you do? Seriously, how would things be different? I mean, for sure, we know how the world is super judgmental. Let's say 2 weeks ago you said, hey, I'm going to get onto a diet for summer, and it's been 2 weeks. Those comments are going to say, and if you didn't, right, those comments are going to say like, yo, what are you doing? You haven't started your diet. So it's like a bit of a reinforcement. It's a social accountability. Where this might be a pitfall is if you are in the group or in the workplace, a lot of people have that bias to be like, oh, well, boss won't know. I'm just one of many workers. You can kind of be like, oh, we're in a big group. I'm in a big department. There's not really a big reason for me to work as hard as I possibly can. Nah, screw that. Take some freaking ownership. Honestly, do it. If you are in a big department, even if you are in life, like, yes, 1 to 8 billion, whatever it is, take ownership of the things you're doing. Use that Hawthorne effect. Use accountability. Use people, right? I mean, like right now, we're using the macro perspective 2023 summer shred. People are watching what we're doing. I'm posting up food. I'm posting up my workouts. They're going to be like, hey, 12 weeks from now, how come you didn't change? Yo. So it's a level of accountability that you can use. Utilize the Hawthorne effect. Feel like you're being observed, because when you feel like you're being observed, guess what you do? Maybe your posture's a little higher, a little more formal, a little bit more dialed in. You're checking yourself, making sure you look good in the camera, in the mirror. And the spotlight effect, look, I am not all about being self-centered. You are not the center of the universe, but I think you can use that. I really think you can. If you feel like you are, how would you act? How would you behave? The things you say, the things you do, would you follow up on them a little bit differently? I mean, my God, leverage that kind of accountability to yourself. It's going to be way more intense. Don't be a social loaf. Don't be that person that doesn't do what they're going to say. They say something, but then they just blend in with the background and go, hopefully they forgot. No, we are not forgetting. You obviously are not forgetting. Don't be that person that kind of, creates cognitive dissonance and just be like, oh, I said I would do something, but I'm going to forget about it. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Leverage the Hawthorne effect. Leverage the spotlight effect. You can leverage it in a group like we're doing right now with the Summer Shred. You can do that, let's say, with personal training. You can do that with the nutrition coach. You can do that in anything. Your job. You have your boss where he goes, hey, I'm going to review your work, or this boss, they're going to review your work with you and get on a weekly mentorship call. Or are you in university and it's like, hey, let's get a study group together. Everyone's responsible for a certain part of the program or the project. And it's like, when you show up and you have to show your part, guess what? You're being observed. You're on the spotlight. You better not be loafing because your grade depends on it. And that's life every day. If you live your life like that and you leverage the Hawthorne and the spotlight effect, I think you do phenomenal. And don't drift. Don't fall into that concept of loafing. It's so detrimental. I've been there, done that. I've been, like on a team and it's like, oh, I could just kind of hide in the corner. Hopefully coach doesn't see. No, I'm going to put the spotlight on you and do it. But you got to do that for yourself. You can't let necessarily everyone else do it for you. Yeah, you joined the group. Yeah, you're part of a fitness crew. Maybe you're part of a mentorship group or you're part of a Summer Shred thing like we're doing. But you've got to participate. You've got to do the things. It really comes down to you. You can't wait for someone else to do this. You're just leveraging these ideas, but you cannot wait for someone else. You got to take autonomy. You've got to make sure you're holding your end of the bargain, holding your end of the deal. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this little micro bite. Man, we are doing something really well. The, macro perspective, Summer Shred 2023, hashtag killing it. Posting a lot. It's a 12-week free challenge. If you guys want in, just let us know. We're in there every day, chatting away, talking, Marcos and I, helping with some nutrition. We got some plans. We got a male and a female plan, and we got a whole nutrition book, or like a whole practical book with like how to move through life with all these things. If you want in, let us know. It's totally free, 12 weeks. I know my goals. I'm going to use the Hawthorne effect and the spotlight effect and show you guys in 12 weeks what's going on. I know Marcos will. His goal was he needs to get absolutely shredded by his 30th. So we're holding him accountable to that. And if not, his wife's going to get underneath his skin. So if you guys are listening to this, utilize these social phenomena, these biases, make them happen. I think it's truly powerful. Again, you're not the center of the universe, but hey, if you acted like it a little bit, what would you do? If you were, what kind of person would you have to be? How would people look at you? So I hope you enjoy. All right, macro perspective peeps. Seamus out.